any of these so-called experts who are regulars on financial networks like CNBC to warn you of an impending crisis, it is never going to happen. That is impossible. They do not understand the problems that underlie the economy. They don't understand the damage that is being done by Fed policy. In fact, these guys believe everything the Fed says. So when Ben Bernanke was out there coming on CNBC in 2005, 2006, 2007, telling everybody nothing to worry about, everything is great, subprime is contained, they believed him, and they laughed at people like me who said that the Fed was wrong. In fact, at this point, they don't even have people like me on, so there's nobody left to laugh at. There are a lot of people, I noticed in the comment section, people are looking forward to another Peter Schiff was right video that it'll be even better than the last couple, but that's not going to happen because we don't have the footage. What made these Peter Schiff was right videos so entertaining was not the stuff that I got right, but was everybody else getting it so wrong. And the fact that those people who were so wrong were so positive they were right that they made fun of me or laughed at me or wanted to bet me that I was wrong. That's what made the video so good. That footage is missing. All we can have now is clips really of me from my podcast warning about these problems. But you're never going to get warnings from CNBC because the bulls that are routinely on that network, those are the stop clocks. See, they always want to say, well, the reason that I was able to predict the 2008 financial crisis was because I'm always predicting a crisis, and therefore I'm a stop clock, and therefore I'm eventually bound to be right, at least twice a day. And so I guess the second time I'm going to be right is on the next crisis. But because I understand the dynamics at play, because I understand the malinvestments and the problems that have resulted from monetary policy and artificially low interest rates, doesn't mean I'm a stop clock. All it means is I'm able to see these problems and warn about them in advance. There's no way to know exactly when the boiling point is, when all of these problems that I am correctly identifying result in a crisis, when the whole thing blows up. You don't know, right? How many straws can we pile on this camel's back before the camel breaks? We don't know. I don't know how many. I just know that if we keep putting them on there, eventually it's going to happen. The stop clocks don't see it. They don't see the problem. And so that's why they are always bullish. Everything is fine. Everything is perfect, right? It's all awesome. There's nothing to worry about. And then if something does happen that they didn't anticipate, well, anybody who was warning about it, they're the stop clocks, and they'll claim that no legitimate forecaster or economist could have possibly understood this. Nobody could have predicted it. Came completely out of left field. One of my favorite little clips in this Peter Schiff was right video is the late Mark Haynes, when I'm warning about this housing bubble. And one of the reasons Mark Haynes is so dismissive of the fact that there could even possibly be a housing bubble was because we just had a stock market bubble less than 10 years earlier that popped. And it seems completely incredulous to Mark Haynes that we can have two huge bubbles so close to each other when bubbles like this only happen every 100 years. And what Mark Haynes didn't understand is that the Federal Reserve created the stock market bubble with its monetary policy. And it was the same monetary policy that was still being used that had inflated the real estate bubble. In fact, that's all that happens. Whenever the Fed's bubbles pop, they simply return to the very monetary policy that inflated them in the first place, and then inflate an even bigger bubble, creating an even bigger problem, which will only manifest itself when the bigger bubble pops. But the so-called experts never recognize this. They don't understand the damage that the Fed is doing. They still think the Fed is putting out fires. They don't realize that the Fed is lighting the very fires that they're claiming credit for putting out, but they never really put them out, right? Because they're pouring gasoline on them, not water. And so they always come back bigger than ever.